us understand where Raila is coming from. One, he lost his African Union infrastructure job due to the machinations of the government that is in place right now. That is one, and the culprit that is very much mentioned is William Ruto, because the day that William Ruto visited Africa Union in Ethiopia is the same day that Raila's sacking letter came in. Secondly, Raila is a politician who has lost presidential elections consistently. So this is something that really gives him a lot of pain, considering the fact that the latest loss was from the current president, Mr. William Ruto. This shows that Raila, in one way or the other, is harboring feelings of anger and some feelings of the need to get his rebound, or what I would call revenge. So, given that Kenya is a country that is governed by the rule of law, Raila has to devise a way to legally get back at his opponents, or to strike back at his opponents. So Raila knows, as the leader of the opposition, he has nearly half of Kenyans solidly behind him. The figure is around 47% from the past election of Kenyans believe in him and support him, and this is what Raila now is doing. He wants to use the numbers that he has in his hands to frustrate the presidency of Dr. William Ruto. So this frustrating of the presidency is in a way trying to get revenge for what he thinks Ruto has cost him. So to make the matter worse, recently the president, in a speech, specifically implemented policies that will hurt some of Raila's businesses, especially in the gas sector. So this compounds the anger in Raila's head and makes it to reach monstrous proportions. So what Raila is doing, decided to do, is to use what he has to attain what he has not. So by Raila making the country walk on its knees and consistently civil disobedience being featured everywhere, this way he will be able to get back at Ruto, because Ruto's own goals, especially the goals of economical transformation and changing this country, will be very difficult to achieve, considering the fact that every week he has to deal with civil disobedience. This civil disobedience, of course, costs a lot of money to the taxpayers and also makes running the government impossible. So Raila is bent on implementing his plans, but as he was in his own process, the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Koome, came into the picture and disrupted whatever Raila was had in place, because if Koome does as he speaks, people will have fear in their hearts and they will not longer be able to participate in the civil disobedience that Raila is trying to push them to. Watch this clip by the Inspector General of Police.
Wakenya wote waende kazi kesho. Niko na maofisa wenzangu hapa, all the service commanders. Labda ila yuko ni DCI kwa sababu alikuwa kule Mombasa. Tuko tayari. Sisi ni kuhakikishia nchi yetu ni tulivu na salama. Every corner of this country is secure and safe. Kuna watu wachache ambao wamejaribu kutisha na labda kusema kwa lugha ya Kimombo, intimidating fellow Kenyans. This is our country, all of us. Si zote, hii ni nchi yetu, whether mtu mdogo ama mtu mkubwa, either kwa utajiri ama kwa mwili, sisi tuko sawa. Hii ni nchi yetu, na ningependa kuuliza Wakenya wote wafurahie kuishi, furahia kuwa kwa nchi yako ambaye Mungu alikupa. Tumesikia wengine wanasema sijui hata kesho wataleta vurugu jiji la Nairobi. Hakuna jambo kama hilo litafanyika. Tuko tayari kama kikosi cha polisi kuhakikisha kuna utulivu kwa nchi nzima. Na kwanza jiji letu la Nairobi, tuko na wageni wengi kwa jiji letu, many foreign nations, na hatutakubali kabisa kitu kibaya kifanyike kwa jiji letu. Na tumeamua kama service commanders, kesho watu wanaruhusiwa kuja city center, uko huru kwenda mahali popote. Lakini kama uko na nia ya kuleta vurugu, uko armed na what we call offensive weapons, mawe, panga, rungu, utapata cha mtema kuni.
From the clip, it is obvious that Mr. Koome means what he says and he means business. The problem with his way of speaking is that it goes against Article 37 of the Constitution of this country, which allows Kenyans to peacefully picket and demonstrate as long as they are not destroying property or causing harm to any individual or person within the territory. So the police function definitely is to maintain law and order, and that is what they should do, and not to go against the constitution, because that will be unconstitutional to bar people from exercising their democratic right as spelled in the constitution of this country. So this fearful rhetoric, of course, will go to the masses and get into the ears of the masses, because most of the masses are not even educated on their rights, and even if they are educated, most of them are facing the hammer blows of poverty and will not be able to dare to test the patience of the authorities. This will be an effective strategy, because it will substantially reduce the amount of strikes and the amount of protesting that goes on the ground level. Mr. Koome must have realized this, and that's why he is implementing this kind of strategy. To Raila, this is very thorny issues, because he knows very well that the police are in closer contact with the common mwananchi than any other force, such as the General Service Unit. So here the strategy that Koome is putting in place will be very effective, but it is against the law to ban people from exercising their democratic rights. So the police come in maybe if people are doing protests that are in a way or the other damaging property or damaging life. This is where the police come in. The police cannot preempt things that have not happened and start circulating images that are 5 years old or 10 or 20 years old in a bid to create fear. I believe the fear died with Moi and his regime, and right now we are in the 21st century. Even in China, where there is a lot of what I might call a political dictatorship, people are going to the streets and demanding their rights. Kenya is long past the rule of autocracy, and anyone that dares to put this country in an autocratic arrangement will be arranged before implementing the arrangement. So, furiously, as we know, Raila has been this kind of leader who believes in his cause for the democracy and the rights of the many. So he had something to say to Koome in response to the comments that Koome made earlier. Watch the following clip.
Wewe Koma, usilete fujo, usilete vurugu. Unasema ati utaweza kushika kila mtu. Mimi niko tayari, nitakuwa kwenye mstari ya mbele. Bwana Koome, hapana tuma askari, njoo wewe mwenyewe tuonane na wewe.
Kesho umesema unaweza kutuweka pingu sisi viongozi. Njoo uniweke pingu. Wakizungumza baada ya kuhudhuria ibada ya Jumapili katika kanisa la
To give this phenomena an analytic dimension, I will tell you a short story. There was once a couple, and one day the husband decided to take the wife to the park. So in the park, most of the husband's friends used to stay there. So once they had reached the park, the husband decided or denied to introduce the wife to his friends. So the wife harbored angry emotions and negative feelings towards the husband, and in her heart promised to revenge. So when Sunday came, they went to church. This time the wife refused to introduce her husband to her friends. So this is a game of tit for tat. This is exactly what is going on. The president of this country, first of all, made some utterances that, if implemented, will have significant impact on the business interests of Raila Odinga and the former president of this country. That is one. Secondly, there is the issue of Raila losing his AU job, and thirdly, there is the issue now of this animosity between Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. So the person that is going to implement what I might call a rebound is hereby described as an action that will revenge or maybe pay or make the other party suffer. And in this case, Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga are jointly mad, angry and bitter at William Ruto, because their anger is coming from the way the president is acting towards them, or the steps that the president is taking against them. So this kind of anger, given the fact that the two are involved, that is Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, are individuals who already have a lot of wealth and financial willpower and muscle. They will try to use the citizens of this country to get back to Ruto, because when the country is not functioning, when everywhere people are fighting, when the Ruto does not have that leeway, that peaceful country to rule and implement his visions and ideas, what will happen is that Ruto will become a frustrated man, and in that way the duo that is Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta will have their own rebound or revenge. So this, from a deeper level, that is what is going on. Basically, the reality here is the things that Raila is talking about, the things like high cost of living, the things like poverty, things like misrule and negative administrative practices. These are things that have been there and most likely will always be there. This is part of history that in most cases repeats itself. So these issues make sense, but at the same time we have to realize that these are issues that have always been there and will always be there going forward. So maybe the way that this problem may be solved is if we can somehow get these three individuals, that is Uhuru, Raila and Ruto, on a table and make them reconcile with each other. This is the only way that we can prevent further spiraling of chaos and problems in this country. But if the government keeps responding fire for fire, tit for tat, the fire will continue burning because we add more fuel to it. And in the end of the day, as they put it, when two bulls are engaged in a combative battle, the grass will suffer. Thank you for watching this video. Like, share and subscribe.